Hey, my name is Abbey Robinson, and I'm a freshman at Clemson University, and this is a new student dialogue vlog for the Game of Life, an exploration of socio-economic status, which was the new student dialogue that I chose to attend. So, the first question asks, do I feel that my group achieved true dialogue? Why or why not? And I definitely feel like my group did achieve true dialogue. We definitely had great leaders that really helped us to talk to one another and interact. They were really open about their own, statuses and everything and what their life was like growing up. And so I really appreciated their openness, and I felt like that helped to make our group completely open. So it was very social. It was a social environment. There wasn't anyone that was really quiet and didn't want to talk. I think that the topic also helped because it was something that all of us obviously had a category of whether we were upper class, middle class, or lower class, and none of us were afraid to speak up and say, I'm in the middle class, or I'm in the upper class, or I'm in the lower class. So it wasn't an issue, and no one was intimidated by that. There were really active voices. There was one guy named Tyler who definitely spoke a lot, but that also was a really good thing because he helped to facilitate discussion, and because he was really open, it made everybody else really open. The leaders, once again, were really open. There was one leader, I don't remember her name, but she literally told us growing up she wasn't in the middle class. She was in the lower class, and her dad worked really hard to send her to school, and now she's on loans in college and she still has to work, but she was really open about that, and it really helped to facilitate our discussion and achieve true dialogue. There were a few more reserved voices. I mean, I wouldn't say anyone wasn't social or didn't want to talk, but I think that there were a few people that definitely were more just listeners, which obviously in life there's people that are more listeners and there's people that are more talkative, and there were more people that were talkative than reserved, but there were people that were reserved, but they still added to the discussion when they felt like they had an opinion on the subject. We actually had a man that had kids, and he was probably 30s, and he returned to college, and so his view on the topic was really interesting because he obviously, had already gone through life, and he was ahead of where we were in life, everybody in the room. So it was really interesting to hear his view on everything, and he had grown up in the lower class and had kids and then worked really hard, and now he's working and going to school so that he can get a better job, but he's working to send his kids to private school while getting a better education here at Clemson so that he can get a better job in the near future to help his kids and get to where he wants to be. So that was really interesting to hear his take on, not coming straight from high school to college and knowing that, social mobility is possible. And I think that, personally, I spoke a lot and gave my opinion. I'm just that kind of person. I'm not afraid to give my opinion, and I think that when everybody else is open, it helps, or when a few people are open, it helps everyone else to want to be open and feel comfortable sharing their opinions. So I definitely, I'm not going to care what other people think because it doesn't matter. So that was definitely my role. I would say that it was really interesting to see what other people thought. Most of us ended up being from the middle class, which was interesting because we had a lot of the same opinions, but we put stereotypes up on the board, and it was really interesting to see what people thought of the different classes, just stereotypes. In the lower class, they thought of a lot of kids, but then after we had written up all the stereotypes, we went back and we crossed off ones that we had personal experiences with not being a stereotype of that class. So for me, I want a lot of kids, and so, and I'm not in the lower class, and so that stereotype was not something that I associated with the lower class, and so I got to go cross that out. So that was really interesting to hear people's stories and kind of break down those stereotypes. Why do I think dialogue is a component of Library 100? I think that coming to college is a lot about exploring different things and different cultures and meeting different people. And I think that dialogue is an important component of daily life. I mean, you're, conversing with people, but I also think it really adds to class discussions, just, in classes in college, but also in groups that you're involved in with your peers. The more that you learn to communicate and are really open and can have a real conversation, the more you get to know people. And the more you get to know people, the more different cultures you get to experience. And it's really interesting to see other people's opinions on the world around us. So I definitely think that dialogue is a really important component of this class because it helps us to branch out. And personally, I met a lot of friends through my new student dialogue that I still hang out with. We all ended up going to lunch after ours was over, and it was just really interesting to hear other people's opinions and see where different people come from. And I think when you give other people a chance and you learn to understand others and where other people came from, it helps you to understand the world around you and really get a grasp on how you as a person can best interact with those around you. Especially as a nursing major, I think that this dialogue was really useful in my experience because it helps me to learn how to interact and take care of and best treat people that, aren't from the same background as me, maybe don't have health care, as a lot of people in the lower and middle class won't have, or people that, are on Medicaid and Medicare, and I need to know how to take care of them. So I think this this new student dialogue was really helpful in my major because, communication is a part of learning about other people's backgrounds and their statuses specifically is really helpful in knowing how to take care of people and how to understand them as people and just be friends to people. I think that growing up as a military brat, have had a lot more experiences with other people, and so I've learned how to communicate with them, and learning that through that experience has also really helped me learning how to understand other cultures and really appreciate it. And when I come to college, it's not just seeing faces. It's like I want to know names and I want to know stories and I want to know people for who they are and not just, a face. And so I think that the dialogue kind of does the same thing that I had growing up. Indirectly, and I mean in a small way, but it can help start those relationships and asking those questions and sparking those insights into people and really understanding people for who they are and everything. So I definitely think that the dialogue was really useful, and it definitely related to, the experiences I have had in the past with the military. And I thought it was really interesting that, I made friends through the process and we could all share experiences and understand them and be appreciative of other people's opinions and their backgrounds as well. So I definitely think that Clemson should keep the new student dialogues as a part of Library 100. And that's all I have to say on the topic. So thank you.